Okay, so you're ready to ditch the 9 to 5 and become your own boss, huh?
Who isn't? Right.
It's the dream. But figuring out how to actually make it happen, well, that can be a little overwhelming.
Yeah, for sure. That's what's so great about this guide. It's not just some vague pep talk. It actually gives you actionable steps.
Right. Like, okay, we get it, follow your passion, blah, 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 but how?
Exactly. This guide breaks it all down. And one of the things I really appreciate is that it features this inspiring story of a woman named Abby Ashley.
Oh, yeah, Abby's story is amazing.
She actually built her entire business, like from scratch, around being a virtual assistant.
While she was pregnant. And hated her job. Talk
Yeah.
about a rock star.
Seriously. It took her just a few months to replace her income.
And the thing is, she didn't have some, like, super unique skill set. She used skills she already had.
And that's what makes the service business model so appealing, right?
Yeah.
It's all about leveraging what you already know and who you already know. Low overhead, flexible hours.
Classic side hustle turned full-time gig.
Exactly.
So one of the first things the article dives into is this really cool exercise called the 3-column method.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Have you heard of this?
I have. It's such a simple but effective way to figure out what services you can offer.
It is. So basically, you just grab a piece of paper and divide it into 3 columns.
3 columns, okay.
In the first column, you write down all the skills you enjoy using, like things you're naturally good at.
Things you're passionate about.
Exactly. And then in the second column, you list all the skills you don't enjoy, the stuff that makes you cringe.
The stuff you'd pay someone else to do.
Exactly. And then in the third column, it gets interesting. This is where you list the skills you want to learn.
Okay, that is interesting because it forces you to think about expanding your horizons, right? Like maybe there are services you could offer that you don't even know about yet.
Exactly. And it could be something you're already kind of interested in, so you're more likely to actually put in the effort to learn it.
Right, and I've seen this happen firsthand. This method can unearth hidden talents or passions you didn't even realize could make you money.
Totally. Like maybe you're a total organization freak, in a good way, of course, and you love creating order out of chaos. That could easily translate into becoming a virtual assistant for a busy executive.
Oh, for sure. Or maybe you're secretly a Pinterest whiz. I know some businesses that would kill for that kind of help.
Seriously. And here's another gem from the article. It emphasizes starting with your network.
Oh, that's so important.
Sometimes we get so caught up in trying to, like, build a website and create a whole brand identity that we forget about the people who already know and love us.
It's easy to overcomplicate things,
And
right?
totally. But those warm connections, your friends, family, former colleagues, they can be your biggest cheerleaders and your first clients.
Absolutely. They might not need your services directly, but they probably know someone who does. Word-of-mouth marketing, especially when you're just starting out, is incredibly powerful.
Right. And it doesn't have to be this big formal announcement. Just casually mention what you're doing, see if they know anyone who might be interested. You'd be surprised how quickly things can snowball from there.
And that's how you start building momentum, which is key in those early stages.
Absolutely. Okay, now are you ready for a really bold strategy?
Hit me with it.
Abby talks about something called high-end client targeting. And when I first read it, I was like, wait a minute, you can actually do that.
High-end client targeting. Okay, yeah, tell me more about that. I'm intrigued.
So it's actually pretty straightforward. Instead of, just putting yourself out there to anyone and everyone, you identify someone specific, someone you'd love to work with.
Like a dream client, basically.
Exactly. Someone who's killing it in their field, someone you admire, someone whose business you're like, I wish I could be a part of that.
Okay, so you've got your sights set on this dream client. What's next?
You do your homework, you really dig into their business.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. You're not just sending them a generic pitch, you're actually getting to know their brand, their pain points.
You got it. You're looking at their website, their social media, maybe even their competitors. And you're trying to identify any problems they might be having or areas where they need help.
Okay, that's smart. Because you're not just offering your services, you're offering solutions to their specific needs.
Right. Like, let's say you notice their Pinterest game is a little weak. You could create a few awesome optimized images for them and just send them over.
Oh, I love that. It's like a free sample of your work, a little taste of what you can do.
Exactly. And you can be like, hey, I noticed you might need some help with your Pinterest strategy. I whipped up these images for you, just thought they might come in handy. If you're interested in more help, I'm here.
It's bold, it's proactive, it shows initiative.
And it's way more effective than just sending a generic, hey, I'm a virtual assistant, hire me email.
Totally. Because You're not just another name in their inbox, you're someone who's already providing value, even before they've paid you a dime.
Exactly. It's like you're saying, I see you, I understand your business, and I can help.
Strategic generosity, I love it. And even if that particular client doesn't end up hiring you, you've made a great first impression, right? They might remember you down the line or recommend you to someone else.
Exactly. It's all about planting seeds. Okay, so we've talked about identifying your services and finding those first clients. But now comes the sometimes awkward part, pricing.
Yeah, pricing can be tricky, especially when you're first starting out. It's easy to undervalue yourself.
Oh, totally. I know I've been there. Like, you want to be competitive, but you also don't want to sell yourself short.
Right. And that's actually something Abby addresses in the article. She talks about how she started at $30 an hour, but she wouldn't recommend going below $20 as a general rule for virtual assistant work.
I think that's such important advice. You're worth your time and your expertise, and you need to value yourself accordingly.
Absolutely. And as you gain experience and your skills become more in demand, you can always raise your rates. Don't be afraid to do that.
Absolutely. And you know what else I thought was interesting? The article suggests working backward from your income goals.
Oh, tell me more about that.
So basically, you figure out how much money you want to earn, right? Like, what's your dream income?
Okay, got it. Dream income, check.
And then you factor in things like how many hours a week do you realistically want to work? And what are your expenses, taxes, all that fun stuff.
So it's all about getting clear on your financial needs and goals.
Exactly. And once you have those numbers crunched, you can work backward to determine what your hourly rate or project fee needs to be in order to hit that income goal.
That's way more strategic than just throwing a number out there and hoping for the best. Okay, so we've got our services, we've got our pricing down, we're landing clients. What about scaling? How do we take this whole thing to the next level?
Ooh, $1 million question.
Well, there are a ton of different paths you can take when it comes to scaling a service-based business.
Which is awesome because it means you can kind of create your own adventure, right?
Exactly. It's not one size fits all, but one of the most common and often simplest ways to scale is by gradually raising your rates.
Makes sense. As you get more experience and you've got clients lining up, you can charge more for your expertise.
Exactly. And the guide also talks about packaging your services, which I think is so smart.
Oh yeah, packaging. That's huge.
It just makes it so much easier for potential clients to understand what you're offering and what they're getting for their money.
Right. It's way more appealing to see a package that's like social media makeover or website content rescue pack than just a list of hourly rates.
Totally. It feels more professional, more high-end. And speaking of high-end, have you ever considered creating digital products?
Ooh, digital products. That's like next level entrepreneurship.
It is, but it's also a fantastic way to scale your business, potentially even create passive income.
Okay, passive income. Now you're speaking my language. But seriously, I've always wondered about that. Like, how do you even get started with digital products?
Well, think about the skills and knowledge you already have. What are people always asking you for help with?
That's a good question. I get a lot of questions about organizing, time management, that kind of stuff.
There you go. You could create a digital course or an ebook sharing your best tips and strategies. Or maybe templates, checklists, things like that.
Oh, I love that idea. So instead of like working with clients one-on-one, I could create a product that helps hundreds or even thousands of people.
Exactly. And it's not just about reaching more people, it's about creating something that works for you, even when you're not actively working on it.
Passive income. See, this is why I love these deep dives. So many light bulb moments.
Me too. It's so inspiring to see how other people are building successful businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this guide does a great job of breaking it down into manageable steps.
It does. It doesn't feel overwhelming, even though we're talking about like quitting your job and starting your own business.
Right. It feels doable. And this article really emphasizes that you don't have to have it all figured out to get started.
So true. I think that's what holds a lot of people back, that fear of not being ready or not knowing enough.
Absolutely. But this guide encourages you to embrace the learning process, to start where you are and adjust as you go.
You know, as we were diving deep into this guide, something really resonated with me. It's that reminder to be kind to yourself throughout this journey.
Oh, that's so important. Because entrepreneurship, it's a roller coaster ride, am I right?
Totally. There are going to be amazing highs and, let's be real, some pretty low lows.
Absolutely. But it's about celebrating the wins, big and
Right.
small, and learning from the setbacks.
And remembering that building a successful business takes time. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Could have said it better myself.
Well, this deep dive has given me so much to think about, and I'm honestly feeling super inspired. Are you feeling inspired?
Totally inspired. I'm ready to go out there and conquer the world one service at a time.
Yes. And you know what? I think our listeners are feeling it too. So, to everyone listening, remember, you have valuable skills and talents that the world needs.
You have something unique to offer, and this guide gives you the tools and the roadmap to make it happen.
Don't be afraid to take that leap of faith. You got this. And that's a wrap on another deep dive. We'll catch you in the next episode.